Yo, what is going on? This is On Tap, another edition here. Been a while since I've done an episode of On Tap. What we do here on Tap is we talk everything about sports, everything that I didn't get to cover. And as far as sports go, and the videos have been very light last couple of 2 weeks or so, last couple of days. So there's a lot of things that I really want to get into over the last couple of weeks that I didn't cover on the TV screen here, where actually they're showing the Jets losing again to the Raiders so far, winless. Get into the Jets a little bit later on, but I think what I really want to get into is kind of the news that broke earlier in the day, and that is in regards to Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement, I guess, if you want to call it retirement. He's going to be involved in a boxing exhibition against Logan Paul, a YouTube star, on February the 20th, kind of following what we've seen between Roy Jones and Mike Tyson in the last week or so there. And I will kind of speak about what I thought of the Tyson fight. And there's actually word here as far as this, that Snoop Dogg wants to be the announcer. So what do we say about this fight, about Mayweather coming out and against Logan Paul, who last we seen in the last fight knocked out Nate Robinson? Pretty impressive though. Nonetheless, it was impressive. February 21st, spoiler alert, Logan Paul announces his retirement from boxing after fighting an actual boxer for the first time. Listen, there is a 6-inch height difference between these two. One might argue that all Floyd is going to do is dance around the whole time. No way he risks actually fighting. This will be the worst fight in history. I mean, what are you guys expecting? You think a guy like Floyd Mayweather is going to break a sweat for a guy like Logan Paul, who's not even a professional fighter? I'll tell you this. Ever the showman, Mayweather smells a payday. And when you look at it, this is kind of, and listen, we're in this a world of where if you could get money, however way you could get it, as long as it's legally, then why not just go forward and get that money, right? But I think in general we could make the conclusion that boxing is dying. They cannot, they can't draw any more people unless it's a circus show. Okay, Spence versus Crawford needs to happen next. Lightweights, Davis, Haney, Loma, and Lopez, need to fight each other to spark the people's interest. And actually, I think they did fight, come to think of it. Loma and Lopez, now that I think about it, and the fight was damn horrible. I'll give you this. I'll tell you this as well. A learning and a growth experience for Logan. You're going to learn a lot if he's really serious about fighting. You know, if Floyd Mayweather actually is taking this seriously and will actually fight, which, you know, will be to be determined.
And somebody was like, yeah, you know that.
Whatever happens, listen, a way to stay relevant, right? For anyone that believes Floyd would take a fight with a potential loss, I think you guys are being a little crazy here. Maybe even fixed, watered down fights is all we get right now. Whatever you want to say about this fight, okay? Gimmick or not, Logan just sealed his payday. His great grandkids will never have to work a day in their lives. Never work a day in his life. Smart woman, smart man. And he's getting that hustle. Using social media, whatever he needs to get his name relevant out there. Self-made man and Logan Paul, you know, crushing it on YouTube, and now fighting a guy in Floyd Mayweather, where payday. Now, will you guys, again, what is to say for a boxing? And boxing is a dying breed, a dying sport. You know, we could argue that, you know, for another time and a place. The question is, will you guys, you know, buy in, you know, to that type of a pay-per-view? Is it something that is worth your while? I know you know, I know there's some rough times, and the way things is now with COVID and everything. I don't know if anyone will be willing to kind of part ways. What, $60, $70, whatever. That's I don't know, for Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. I don't know. But, you know, obviously there is a market for it because people are buying it, obviously. So that's February 20th for anyone that may be interested in that exhibition. Speaking of exhibition, I want to go back to Jones versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, and listen, Mike Tyson, 50-something years old, hasn't been in the ring for, about 15 years now. Looked chiseled. Looked like a beast. Looked just as intimidating as he did when he was boxing, you know, when he was 18, 19 years old. Intimidating. And this guy is great shape. Yeah, it reminds you, he hasn't boxed in, you know, close to 15 years, I believe. He's facing against Roy Jones, who I believe hadn't boxed either in about maybe 5 or 6 years at that point. And it was an exhibition match. And I think in a match like that, when, at least what I was expecting going up, when you had Roy Jones versus Tyson, both up there in, 50 years of age, it kind of, the outcome is what you expected it to be, I think. Exhibition, everyone wanted to get their sponsors in, their mentions in, a lot of holding, a lot of dancing around in the ring. It's what you expected. What you expected. I honestly didn't expect a knockout or anything of that sorts. This was a sponsored heavy type of a boxing match. Get all the sponsors out there. Make sure they get their name and what they're selling out there. And that's what happened. You accomplished all of that. Mike Tyson did not embarrass himself at all. Damn good job. Throwing those punches, man, when you seen those punches, how he threw them, just again, it reminded me, as a kid, back then when you used to sit around the TV and back in the boxing heyday, and you would get ready to see a Tyson fight, right? You would be all anxious, be 12:30, 1 o'clock. Here comes Tyson for his 20-second fight, and then you have a knockdown, right? So it brought you back to that nostalgia. It was a nostalgia type of exhibition in Tyson. Didn't embarrass himself. Exhibition nostalgia. And, like I said, in regards to Mayweather and Logan Paul, them two facing each other, as long as their families and Tyson and Roy Jones were okay with it, who are we to say can't do it? Go ahead. Everyone deserves a living, to make a living. These guys probably don't have to fight ever again, but they're athletes, they're competitors, and, they deserve to make a living. Will this bring, what's the end result for this match? Will it bring more eyeballs back to boxing? Will it bring boxing back to the glory days of the 80s and the 90s? I don't think so. But it's nostalgia. It's nostalgia, and like I said, Tyson, Roy Jones really didn't. They didn't embarrass themselves. So who are we to say that they shouldn't be doing there? They shouldn't be going out there. It's their right. Now, same way as it is your right to not buy the product if you don't want to. But, that's kind of the problem. The same thing with boxing, the same thing with, like I'll tell you, baseball. Has boxing really marketed their stars to the best of their ability? Look at baseball, right? Mike Trout, for example. Best player, arguably, in Major League Baseball. Guaranteed, if you've seen Mike Trout walk by, you probably would not even know who he is. Not because he plays for California, West Coast team, where you don't see a lot of West Coast games in Major League Baseball. It's for the fact that, they don't market, they don't cater, they don't market their stars. Look at NBA, for example. They have got that down brilliantly and perfectly, where they do market their stars. And you might even say, as far as the NBA now, the people that watch the NBA really don't even root for teams per se. They root for individual athletes, and they've done the marketing pretty well, and it's a job well done. So those were just my thoughts in regards to the exhibition of what we've seen in boxing, a dying breed, dying sport. Hopefully these exhibitions will bring the sport back to some form of relevance. Moving on to some football talk here for you guys, and another week that's just been really and football just whizzing, passing everyone by. It's the fastest and the most exciting, and to me, NFL has always been a must-watch. Must-watched football. Football is must-watched, must-watched every week because it's so many. There's so many storylines, and one of the storylines here that we speak of is the New York Jets. New York Jets right now are winless. They were very close actually to taking over, to defeating the Raiders. Literally just lose it within the last few seconds. Listen, now there's so much talk about Lawrence and getting that first round pick. Many Jet fans here are probably all like, holy crap, we're actually going to win. We're sabotaging our chances in drafting Lawrence, getting that first overall pick. And, I was just reading the message boards, and Jet fans were besides themselves. Like, we can't win this game. We need Lawrence. Here's the thing. Couple of things with Darnold, right? Listen, do you feel that Darnold is actually a good quarterback? And the offensive and the offense and the coaching has done him wrong with the quote unquote nonsense and the inconsistency. Listen, he's been through 2 head coaches and at least 3 offensive coordinators. Right? Now, listen, Sam Darnold is a pro. Go out and make plays. Do you feel sorry for the kid? Look, Tom Brady, look, made Edelman. Now, what's Edelman doing? And I hate to say this, but look at the other guys that Brady made look good, and now and then that left and just stunk it up. Brady made his wideouts good. And this is coming from a Dolphin fan. Yeah, listen, does he have it, is the question. Coaches, yes, might have ruined him, but he hasn't been able to adjust. And maybe he needed another year in college, just like a Sanchez. So, on the flip side here, I'll ask you this. Could Tom Brady in his prime win with this team? Could he win with this team? Maybe not even with this organization. Do you blame Darnold as a Jet fan? Or do you blame the organization, or do you blame both? Maybe that's why a lot of people, I think, feel bad for Darnold, because much like Sanchez, he's just a victim of circumstance. Victim of circumstance and being wound up and playing for the Jets. Which maybe why, Jet fans, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Trevor Lawrence maybe says, listen, I'm seeing there what's going on with the Jets. Seeing what's going on with the Jets. I actually, like Sam Darnold. I think he was a good quarterback in college. And what they did to him, I want no part of. And you know what? I'm just going to go back to college. That could happen. Or if I'm drafted for this team, I will not play for them. Hey, Manning Rivers, what happened? You're familiar with that situation a couple of years ago, right? He could force his hand. He could force and say, you know what? I do not want anything to do with this Jet organization. I do not. And listen, around here, I think if you look at the whole situation between the Jets and Sam Darnold, if you asked locally here, the guys, the Jet fans being from New York, a lot of them would, I think it's split down the middle. A lot of them would blame Darnold, but a lot of them would also blame this organization and the way it's run. I've said this numerous times before. I'll say it again, just my opinion. Look at the head coach in Adam Gase. Being a Dolphin fan, I did not like Gase at all. Drove a lot of players out. And then Gase gets let go by the Dolphins, comes to the Jets on a recommendation from Peyton freaking Manning. And what has he done? Quarterback whisperer, offensive guru, has done nothing. Nothing at all for the Jets, honestly. Honestly. Even if you're the biggest Jet fan out there, you got to kind of admit it too. You know, and just going back to the wins and losses there, a lot of Jet fans were just kind of no, listen, let's not win. We can't be winning this game. You know, are you going to clean house this entire organization next year? Yeah, I do think that there will be some turnovers, but I don't think they will be to that extreme. We're going to let go of everyone. Listen, losing does have an effect on the players. No player out there on a team, I think, goes out there and says, you know, I'm expecting to lose. I want to lose this game. Losing, just like winning takes a toll. Winning helps you. Losing definitely does its damage. So you wonder the morale, the psyche. You know, losses damage players as well. So they're not wanting to lose at all. They're not. I don't think if you're a Jet fan, you should be saying, you know, tanking for Darnold and just wishing your team to be losing. I don't think that's the right approach either. My humble opinion. You know, now if this was up to me, if you are, I would have made you this argument now. Honestly, just my 2 cents. If you had thoughts or if you had visions of trading Sam Darnold, I would have made the argument that he shouldn't even be starting. At this point, losses keep on piling up, mistakes keep on piling up. Whether it's his fault or no fault of his own or a combination of people, everyone involved, the more he messes up, the more his stock is going down. So you might make the argument that it might have been best that if the Jets were looking to trade him, that he, you know, be not, you know, be not out there in the first place. You know, just you know, my 2 cents on the matter, but it's going to be an interesting scenario. You know, I thought, you know, the Jets had their quarterback. I thought they did, and it looks like it's back, you know, to the drawing board. I'd like to take a break here, and do want to share a video with you guys in the break, in the admission here, while I do regroup. And I definitely thank you for taking the time here to look at this video. You know, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It means a lot. And this is from 2 months ago, talking actually about Adam Gase and the New York Jets. And this is what I thought about this whole situation 2 months ago, being from the area. So have a listen, and I'll be back in 5 minutes, and we'll pick up, go around the horn, talk some more NFL, get into a little bit of basketball as well. I think if you were a New York Jet fan coming into this season, you were looking for something. You know, did you expect to get to the playoffs? I don't think you did, but you expected some competitiveness, right? And you go to San Francisco. San Francisco, pretty much as soon as they get on the field, they lose Bosa, Garoppolo. You know, they lose everyone. So they were injured pretty much right off the bat. You know, so they were decimated. So you're going up against this team, and it's like the Jets haven't shown up all season, and unfortunately, it seems like Sam Darnold has kind of regressed instead of progressing. And I don't think the play calling, I don't think the coach, Adam Gase, is helping you at all. I'm a Dolphin fan, so I could tell you from experience that Adam Gase, it's like he does not, I don't think he communicates. I don't think he talks to his players. Look, talk to Miami there. Talk to Jay Ajayi. Talk to Ryan Tannehill, who I just used to always knock. I still don't believe Ryan Tannehill is good as what he's playing now, but he's on he's with a coach that is a damn good coach. It's amazing how this coach pretty much came as a recommendation. Came as a recommendation from Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning recommended Adam Gase. Now listen, the Jets, they've become irrelevant in just the second week of the season. Darnold had no running game. Receivers dropped passes. No identity. Uninspired. His play calling is uninspired. Gase, he just stares at that sheet there as if, something's gonna. That's all he does is just stare at it and look at it as if something's gonna pop up and, give him the fountain of youth for the keys to being a good coach. How many times must you see 3rd and 6 and a pass is thrown for 3 yards or an inside handoff for no gain? Listless, hangdog play. Hangdog play. They don't want to play for this coach. I think he's already lost his locker room. San Francisco, again, loses 2 defensive starters. Bosa and still nothing. They lose their starting quarterback, and they don't miss a beat. Up and down the field they go. Bam, 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 up and down. 4th and 1, and another boring inside handoff for a loss. Herndon, non-factor. Tight ends, invisible. No deep threat. No in-game adjustments. Adam Gase, worse.
And Mr. Colt, that's possible. First play of the game, and you give up an 80-yard TD run. Missed tackles, players out of position, pathetic. Maybe next time. And sadly, that will be after they destroy Darnold. Because you know, if they have the worst, if they're sitting there at number one, they're sitting there at number one next year, they're going to draft Lawrence. You know that's what's happening. And after they destroy Darnold, maybe they could trade him where he could play for a team that knows how to run an organization, and he could rejuvenate his career. Well, why can't the Jets hire a coach with a winning record? If they manage 5 wins this season in the Jets, that would be a miracle. Hey, Sam Darnold, I'm still a big fan of Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold, too, has to kind of, like I watched Joe Burrow, who's in his first year, and you could tell that Joe Burrow is already like, Joe Burrow is a guy that his teammates will go through the wall for. Sam Darnold, it's not, and this is Joe Burrow after 2 games. Sam Darnold doesn't seem to be that type, and I know not everyone has to be that type. I mean, look at Peyton Manning; he never was that type. But he won. He won Super Bowls early. You got to do something too if you're Sam Darnold. But listen, Sam Darnold, run fast, far away. You have Adam Gase as your coach. Save yourself. You Jet fans, you're stuck. You will continue to be Jet fans. But Sam Darnold, you could still get out somehow. Don't be the next Alex Sanchez. I feel sorry for you Jet fans. I really do.
And, that's where I stood on Sam Darnold 2 months ago when I made that video. And unfortunately, it's more of the same. Probably would do the same type of video now. Moving on, because the Jets couldn't make everyone depressed, and I don't want to make you guys depressed. I want you to come back and subscribe, and I hope you do hit that notification bell again. Talk all things sports here. Another thing that kind of stuck out for me this week's games was Hurts coming in for a Carson Wentz. Wentz kind of pulled there very early on. Here's the thing. I think he was about 5 for 12 in Hurts. Kind of that's what you had. And I'm back and forth between Philly very often, so I do listen to their sports talk down there. They are a very dedicated fan base. They love their Eagles. I think that's definitely a football town. The thing is, what I will take from that game with Hurts in is Hurts put up almost identical numbers and projections as Wentz has been. Yet, everyone already down there is saying that Hurts was a breath of fresh air. Simply because he's, let's be honest, on a longer leash and hasn't disappointed long enough for people to come down on him. Some are even making excuses for him because of his O-line creating extra pressure and receivers dropping passes, as if they weren't the same players that have been playing all season. Come on. It's a bit of a joke. They're just a bad football team in the Eagles, especially that offensive line. And listen, to be fair, he in Hurts needs a full game. Not trying to overcome a huge deficit. Though it's a good litmus test. I just, listen, I don't think it's Wentz's fault. I just think that this team is just a horrible team. It's just a bad team. You have no offensive line, and nobody is going to do well until you fix that offensive line. The only thing right now that you can make the argument for in Hurts is it's obvious, though. One thing that you could say is that Hurts does give the team a little bit more mobility. But in the end, it comes down to protection and the ability of the receivers to get into their routes more quickly. No time, no reward. And listen, Hurts gave them a spark in the Eagles because it threw the defense off. See him in one full game before you anoint him the next savior. I just don't think right now, looking at Hurts, that Hurts is NFL ready to start. Okay, you might make the argument, when will you be NFL ready to start? You're grabbing, experience by being out there. I could see that. I could see that argument. I could see that statement. But I just, and listen, Wentz is a successful quarterback. Or at least you might say that hasn't happened since 2017. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But I just don't think that Hurts is the answer, what you're looking for at this present moment, and that he is really any better than that one, that Wentz is, except for mobility. Okay, but you know. Moving on. Moving on. Take a breath, Eagle fans. Jacksonville Jaguars. We're kind of flipping back here to the good old Jacksonville Jaguars, and you could argue that Jacksonville is also trying to give the New York Jets a run for their money, and trying to get a quarterback, trying to get that first pick. But the Jaguars made some news, and they had fired Dave Caldwell some time ago, about within the last 2 weeks. Listen, here's this argument. You might say you will never rise up constantly flipping the house, so to speak. You need minimum 3 years for a staff to start moving in the right direction. You're going to need to clean out contracts, find what you have, lock it up or cut it, install staff and scheme, right? Blah, 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 blah. Bring in players. Then after that, you will constantly. Then after that, you could see improvement. Now, by constantly dropping, I guess the house from the top, you really never move effectively as a general statement, right? But Caldwell gone. I mean, look, it's what have you done lately? Caldwell gone. Now, I think Caldwell honestly is going to find a job pretty quickly. I don't know, man. Caldwell has drafted better than many GMs in this league, I think, since he joined the team. He was also able to get a good return for Yannick and Jalen when the Jags had really no leverage when they were demanding a way out, when these players were demanding a way out, right? Plus, he got out of the Foles contract with picks and returns. He was the architect of that 2017 team, a roster that had to be blown up because of leadership from Marone and Coughlin. You might make the argument, and maybe I would agree with you, that maybe he deserved another offseason with a competent coach instead of dealing with maybe Doug Marone. I'm not saying that Doug Marone is not a competent coach. Don't mean that in any way. Just not working. Listen, it's a sports show, and this is my sports opinion. I think the Jags are going to be in a sad place for some time. But Caldwell is going to find a job quick. I think he will definitely find a job quick. So, how about this? Harden and Wall now are the combo, with a trade of Wall going over to Houston and Westbrook going over to Washington. Both players need to stay healthy. I really thought, in my opinion, that the Rockets would have traded Harden. I thought that they would have. There was rumor talk, speculation that he would be coming over to my Brooklyn Nets. That didn't happen. It's hard, I think, at times to trade a 30-something average a game, 3 times scores, three times scoring champion, and if I'm not mistaken, in Harden. At times, he's hard to guard, right? But he could, but he's also 85% of the offense. So how can you rebuild around him? Westbrook and Harden are childhood friends, from what I understand, so they know each other fairly well. John Wall is a respectful point guard, maybe not a triple-double guard, but at 6'4", he could distribute the ball. Nowadays, it's really it's about being healthy. So my question is, how much of the ball will be shared? A new coach, different scheme of players. But Harden is still the go-to guy. Still the go-to guy. 8 years he's been there. Are you getting to the finals? That might be a long shot. You still have to go through the Lakers no matter what. And they made some acquisitions to bolster up that lineup. McGee and Howard, which was big front line. That big front line has left, but with Gasol and keeping Anthony Davis and Schroeder, that point guard from Oklahoma City is good. It's going to be, interesting, to say the least. I think it's a trade that's good for both teams. Sticking to NBA, Klay Thompson yet again injured. Injured yet again. Unfortunate for Klay Thompson. Remember, and this is his Achilles again. Klay Thompson runs a lot and he cuts hard to get open. And that jump that Klay has when he shoots, it's really high up there. People, underestimate how much jump shots play on the knees and the Achilles. And Klay Thompson is known as a great defender. I don't think he's going to be able to move with lateral quickness like he used to anymore. And then the added psychological, worry about the knee that made him overcompensate on the other leg, which caused this new injury. It's going to be tough. And he is 30. Not like 30 is, extremely old, but in basketball sense, 30 is 30. And, coming back, he's going to try to get in rhythm with both injuries. Can you ever be a 100% himself again? I don't think he's going to be the same. I don't think he's going to be the same Klay Thompson. I can't see it happening. Sticking with the NBA news and your NBA champions, the LA Lakers. We're talking about one of the pickups that they made in Schroeder. Schroeder, you know, a guy that has played the bench in Oklahoma City and was very effective, is now looking to, you know, with the Lakers in his new role, looking to start. Looking to start, looking to play around, you know, and be a contributor on the Lakers. And listen, the thing is, when you look at it, LeBron James gets less wear and tear on his body playing point, setting up other players than he does playing the 3 or the 4. You know, battling, you know, other big, strong players for position in the post. He will be the point most of the time. And this is the league's best player and your greatest asset, which you have got to protect. Why fix something that isn't broke? Listen, I'm not saying that he isn't worthy of a starting role, because he is. But with this particular roster that you have, and the amount of offense they have on the starting unit, I think that he's personally gonna, you know, flourish more off the bench, where, you know, he has a chance for more shots, and you know, you play him in the end of games, get that spark in as well, and he's still going to get his 30 to 35 minutes very easily. You know, I just think it helped the team more if more of his minutes came when either, you know, Anthony Davis or LeBron were subbed out for rest. You know, my 2 cents on that. But you gotta respect the guy that could hustle in Schroeder wanting to contribute. But the NBA season, guys, it's right around the corner too. Speaking of around the corner, Isaiah Thomas, one of my favorite players when he was with the Celtics. This guy could ball and was one of the better players. Literally just kind of threw his body on the line there, and you know, did get injured, and just injury after injury, and hasn't been the same since. So when you ask the question, and he said that he's ready to go still without a team. If I look at Isaiah Thomas, I think Isaiah Thomas could be, you know, playing with the San Antonio Spurs. You know, the Spurs, they need a point guard. He could definitely thrive under Greg Popovich. You know, he's good offensively, and he has good point guard skills. Defensively, you know, he's a liability. But even though being a liability defensively, look at a guy like Muggsy Bogues, right? He made it work by being a on-the-ball pest and getting deflections. that is how he's going to have to play for teams to take notice. Getting your plus minus meter to overwhelm, the defense. Look, Isaiah Thomas once averaged what I believe it was like 28 points per game. Led that Celtics team to the playoffs. There are others who played in the league at his height and made a career out of it. Really, you could make you can make the same argument about a 7-7 guy. Too slow laterally, can't rotate on pick and rolls, can't guard the 3-point line. There are guys in the NBA that can't shoot at all, but make a career out of hustle plays. All you have to do is look at guys like Marcus Smart, right? Garrett Temple. Why are they in the league? Carmelo Anthony is less than average defensively, but guess what? He's still in the league. Why does he get a chance? A guy like these guys, why do they get a chance? Carmelo Anthony gets another chance. And not a guy like Isaiah Thomas. Guy deserves a chance to be a player in the league again. And hopefully we'll see Isaiah Thomas in the NBA sometime soon. Now, when you talk about stupidity, oh boy. Look at stupidity, you might see the picture of Michael Jordan. Not because of stupidity, not doubting his playing career, of course not. But what you got to look at is this deal that let me pull up the actual deal, a deal that he gave to Gordon Hayward. Ready for the deal? Take this in. Charlotte Hornets, tied for the largest actually. $120 million, a 4-year deal. $120 million, 4-year deal. Good player, Gordon Hayward, when healthy 5 years ago. His most production in a season in Boston, he had I think it was 16 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists per game. So those are franchise player numbers. You can't even get a full season out of the dude. Could he even defend the 2 or the 3 at this point? Paying that type of production, half of that is being extremely generous. In 4 years, 4 damn years, new levels of absurdness. He at best, right now in his career, solid role player. Listen, 6'7", 220, limited athletic ability and strength. He isn't guarding any power forward. He isn't quick enough to stay with most shooting guards or small forwards. Dirty and injury prone. And you pay him like a franchise cornerstone. And for 4 years. 4 years. And guess what? Down the road, if you're Charlotte, you have to pay Batum $9 million a year for the next 3 years. So the cost of signing this guy for the next 3 years will be $30 million plus the $9 million, $39 million. And 1 more year at $30 million. Can you follow the math? As an owner, Michael Jordan just completely lack of a better word, just ruining the Charlotte Hornet franchise. Listen, you spent 33% of your cap space for the next 4 years on someone who may or may not be able to play a complete season again and who is on the wrong side of 30. It's way too risky. You're bidding against yourself too, in essence. You could have signed him for half of what he paid. For half of what, Jordan paid to get this dude. Now you're not going to have cap space to fill your roster. Good player when healthy, which is not often. But far from franchise cornerstone numbers. You sign him at 10 to 12 million per, then you have a good signing. Use this analogy. It's like buying a $100 shirt for $500. That's essentially what has happened. We'll finish off with baseball, and we'll talk about Sam Travis. I don't know if you guys remember Sam Travis. A lot of expectations for Sam Travis in the baseball circuit, who's now just signed a minor league deal with the Seattle Mariners. Second round pick was Travis in 2014. So he's joining the Mariners for a team that already has Evan White. Evan White signed to a 6-year, $24 million contract before then. So there is a kind of a stoppage to get to the big league team with Evan White, who you have filled. Unfortunately for Sam Travis, this is just a organizational filler. Unfortunately, with him, he has never really hit well enough to stick in the major leagues. But someone needs to play first base and corner outfield, and in AAA, which enter Sam Travis. Pray and pray that he's not needed in the big league. Think of it. Half or more of the roster, most AAA teams, is organizational filler. On a rare occasion, someone finds the swing or the right pitching coach to unlock the potential, but that usually does not happen. Two guys are 27 at this point, and that's what Travis is. And he does not walk much either. So it kind of, it is what it is, and he's really fighting for his major league career at this point. And that's it. We leave you from On Tap. Do subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We talk all things sports here. We will join you next time to talk everything sports related. Until next time, I hope